All right. Hello, everyone. We are live, and this is the last live stream of the 2025, not the last live stream. And today, what we were going to talk about was about the supernatural, and this came from Ook. Look, uh, there are like comments already. So we the topic came from Ook. He wanted to kind of talk about people's different supernatural or past experiences in the supernatural. But it's right now it's just Machiavelli and myself, and we were having an interesting discussion on philosophy. So that's where hey Ook.
Oh, did
Hey,
I? Sorry, I'm just swearing.
No worries. So I was just saying that we were just talking about some philosophy. And Machiavelli and I had kind of exchanged a couple of emails because in my responses to Nepi, I had mentioned that I have a more realist view. And so Machiavelli was kind of interested in, where um, you know, what my views are in that regard. So we had exchanged a couple of emails and we were just talking before the show started on about this, and it was interesting because he had mentioned Sharon Street, because I have kind of what I called EFR, which is evolutionary functional realism. And so Sharon Street is a philosopher who's kind of a Humean philosopher, but who has kind
I've
of an
heard the name.
evolutionary based view.
Yeah, I've
So,
heard the name before.
oh, nice.
Machiavelli gave me a list of books
Oh,
because
nice.
I think the first time he showed up, and I've managed to get a few of them,
Oh,
and for a reasonable price too. Some of them
yeah.
are bang. No, no, thank you.
yeah.
I'll take the second edition, and I don't care if it's a bit rich. Um, yeah, I've been forced with the Godwins to touch on a subject that I basically spent my whole life trying to avoid. Philosophy. It's yeah. Hang on, sweetie.
Someone's very
Lisa,
loud,
Krista will
wanting to
take
get
you out.
fed.
Yeah, he wants to go back out into his cat cage,
Hmm.
but it's off and on pissing down rain, so
Oh,
he's all right. Oh, you're going to hang off the? Yeah, right. If you suddenly see me go backwards, it's because the cat's managed to climb up my bedspread.
okay. All right.
No,
Yeah. So you haven't had a chance to read it then yet, Ook. You just
no, I
yeah.
haven't really had a chance. Yeah, it's been we've decided that we're going to rent for another 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to stay here. I don't want to have to like move in at New Year into a
Yeah.
new place, and but it all depends on how much they put the rent up.
Mm.
If they put it up to 550 a week, that's all right. If they put it up to 600 a week, get fucked. The place doesn't even have air conditioning, so it's just yeah. Oh, oh no! Blast from the past.
Yeah.
Are we? Should we go live?
No, we are live.
Oh, fuck.
Yep.
So yeah. So everyone can hear us. So I guess maybe I should mention that to you. But
Uh,
what we were talking about was, besides Sharon Street, Machiavelli had also mentioned the site called annasarchive.org, ANNAS dash ARCHIVE.org, where you can search for some ebooks. And I guess there's some ebooks by Sharon Street. And I'll have to take a look and start reading it. I was going to,
do you want to
I
drop
had
that
as,
link in the chat
yeah, I'll do that now.
or
Yeah.
in
Um,
I
in
can
the
do that.
comments?
Yeah, in
later
the
on.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll post it right now. But um, I was actually going to start reading Daniel Dennett, which I haven't really,
Oh, okay.
I hadn't really read any of his stuff. I just know kind of about him and kind of his some of his view. And again, I think just because it's kind of a naturalism based view, I think it does mesh with mine. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I was going to start reading that, but I'll have to also read Sharon Street definitely, just because I think the evolution aspect of it for her, um, with her view, might be kind of an interesting mesh with my own views. Just from kind of looking up her point of view, it does seem like it's a little different. I mean, for my own view, I think evolution is more fundamental, and I think for
Hmm.
her, evolution is kind of more of a background. So yeah, but it's definitely interesting, and maybe we at some point we can have a kind of a discussion. Machiavelli, have you had a chance to read her stuff?
I had not had a chance to read her Humean constructivism paper, but a
Mm-hmm.
long time ago, I ended up reading her paper going over evolution and how it relates to moral realism.
Yep.
I believe she called it Darwin's dilemma
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I heard
moral
that.
realism, because
I mean,
I
the thing
believe
is that she
in the
doesn't
literature it's called the
believe.
evolutionary debunking argument.
Yeah, but I mean, she doesn't technically believe in moral realism.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
But
she
yeah,
thinks
I think
that
that's the difference.
evolution itself, like giving us the faculties to pick out and discover these stance independent moral facts is pretty unlikely unless you built into like a background assumption that part of our evolutionary history is not only our beliefs truth tracking, but they're also truth tracking in regards to ethics as well.
Yeah, but yeah. So for next year, I'll definitely try to read more. And I have to say, I haven't really read much philosophy, like not actually directly read it. Just I mean, because with work and time, and it really hasn't been kind of eh, in the front of my mind. But I think with some of the things that's come up, I've actually gotten more interested in going back into reading more philosophy. So, and I did kind of spend a little time to trying to kind of fine tune my own views on morality. So
Oh,
it's been
absolutely.
definitely interesting. And so
Oh, yeah.
Machiavelli, I don't think we had a chance to really talk too much about your background. So, how did you formally study philosophy, or how did that come up, or you're just more interested?
Um, Pretty much I'm just interested in it. I mean, I've kind of what's what I'm looking for. There's a couple of different things like just over time that I figured out over the years of like, okay, maybe I like this or maybe I don't, so on and so forth. But when it came to philosophy itself, I didn't really discover that I genuinely love it until when I was back in community college and I ended up taking a philosophy course for me to get my associate. And I was like, oh, I actually do like thinking about this and thinking about like, okay, well, why is this right or this wrong? What is like, the fundamental nature of knowledge and so on and so forth. I ended up having to drop out of college for familial reasons, but I've still continued to kind of just learn things about philosophy as I go, mostly through like finding like lectures and whatnot and taking notes there. But since I got a pay bump from my job recently, I've been hoarding and building a stack of philosophy books and just slowly going through them and adding them to my collection. And then finding Anna's archive on top of that. I mean, shoot, I think at this point I've got like 70 books or so that I can just go through whenever. Um, so that's really how I discovered that I like philosophy. So
Nice. So Craig Kelly has got a new Amazon Kindle device, so he can definitely start hoarding the books. And unlike Ook, Craig actually thinks philosophy is cool.
Nice. Craig is based.
Yeah, right.
I my philosophy is more bucket. Um,
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
it does sometimes kind of feel like it's not relevant. You know what I mean?
I know
Hmm.
it's relative, but I just generally have a yeah a fuck it attitude. You know, like this could go wrong. This could go wrong. This is a moral dilemma. No,
Yeah.
this could. No, fuck it. I'm just going to punch the guy in the face. Um, that's what
I
I
mean,
mean
it does
to.
sometimes seem like it's a bit of a navel gazing kind of mental masturbation sort of thing. So,
Oh no, I used to like when I was on mine sites, especially in the tropics, the very tropics. Um, and remember, this is all before the days of cellular phones and GPS and all that. Whether if you ran out of smokes, it was a 2.5 hour drive outside to get outside the Aboriginal um, land that we were mining on, and that was in the dry season. In the wet season, if you ran out of smokes, it might take 2 days to get to the trading post. Um, so sitting down and talking, and you know, you have to talk about everything. Otherwise, you go troppo, you go mad. And every now and again, a few of us would go, "That's it, taking a couple of troppo days, boss. It's either that or I'm going to shoot every bastard in the whole in the mine site." Um, yeah, and we just sort of sit around chatting.
well, and it's ironic that the trolls on the AXP is kind of stimulating some of us to learn more about philosophy. So I think that's good.
I think
I,
I went to from because I left school early. Um, I didn't even get to I finished grade 10 and then I fucked off to the mines. But I did grade 12 and all that through correspondence and most of my degrees through correspondence as well. Um, just talking to people of different nationalities or different religions. Yeah, if you're fishing with someone for a couple of days and radio, forget that. On a good night with a 50-foot antenna, you might get BBC World. So you got nothing to do except read and then talk about things. And we covered quite a bit of philosophy.
yeah,
Um,
because philosophy doesn't have to be some kind of formal discussion where you're just name dropping. It's not the monkey boy type of philosophy that.
Knock for while
oh,
you
Hannah,
can, monkey boy.
Jack, Hannah, Jackie's like twit who keeps calling up, or used to keep calling up the Noah.
Yeah, a lot of, especially a lot of early philosophy was just literal dialogues. I mean,
Yeah.
Plato's works were just dialogues with him using his mentor Socrates to illustrate some type of point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's I find that fun. I find I did go to a couple of philosophy lectures because some some of the courses you had to do certain blocks or a certain amount of time at uni. So I'd work my schedule around that because sometimes I'd be away for 4 months, home for a month, away for 6 months, home for 2 months. It was a bit all over the place. And, what was that talk? Yeah, so I did end up at uni listening to some, or doing a mandatory philosophy class. And I turned to um, a, a friend of mine and I went, "Hey, Sharon, yeah, here's this new thing called DAT, digital. It's a digital tape recorders for all the old audio files. Um, I managed to get hold of one of them, and I said, I'm going, I'm going to the rec club. Can you just tape this for me? Why? Because if I have to sit through this, I'm going to chew the arm off the leg, my own arm off. The professor was so fucking boring. Um, yeah, he could have done. He could have been a contender for Borney, Australian entrance in the Olympics for boring. And I saw everyone else, trying to nod off. So she said, "Yes, I'll record it for you." And I just slunk out the door and headed to the rec room and got pissed with the engineering guys. No one liked us herpetology. No one liked the biology students were tolerated. The herpetology wing was basically avoided like the plague, and probably for good reasons. We'd leave snakes and monitor lizards in strange places. But I'm starting to enjoy philosophy now,
Yeah,
especially
I
as
mean,
I get older.
especially like I mean, the issue is like these kind of fallacious comments that come up, like with was it is it Edith Bromfeld? Or, I mean, I guess that's alternately is still Neppy, but this whole thing about how atheists
You can't eat the fucking shoes.
oh no. So this thing about atheism essentially condoning these horrible
Child rape.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's just stuff that I don't even want to mention, but he wants to make this point that somehow because atheism, and the thing is, like, he's just saying that atheism as in he's just conflating atheism with subjective morality, which is not, correct, because atheism itself doesn't have or doesn't entail any specific morality, except that it would be a non-theistic morality. And
yeah,
if you say non-theistic morality, you basically have a whole gamut of different philosophies, different moral philosophies. And in fact, if you talk about theistic moral systems, there really actually isn't much. It, there isn't much anything concrete in the sense that some of the quote unquote theistic moral philosophies are essentially just non-theistic philosophies, except you just throw in God at the end. Like there is kind of like theistic uh, naturalism, for example, which basically says that, well, ultimately, God is the source of the natural law. So therefore, it's just like a naturalistic philosophy, except it's just quote unquote grounded in God, right? So you
Yeah,
just get
or you end up with like cases of ethical, like subjective morality through like divine command theory,
yeah,
where they just bite the bullet and say, hey, what God commands is what's good, but since God's an agent, it's still subjective. It's just that God is the greatest of all agents, and that's why we should listen to him.
right. And divine command theory really is the only one that remains as kind of an actual theistic moral viewpoint.
Yeah,
Everything else, like I
and
said, is just an overlay of God on top of existing philosophies.
and
Yeah, like the 2020 philosopher, the Phil Paper survey, I believe it was like 60% of philosophers are moral realists. So
Yeah,
so chances are, if you were to just run into a random PhD philosopher, they'd probably tell you, yeah, objective moral values exist, and
yeah,
no, they have nothing to do with God.
right.
it's
But yeah, go ahead.
divine command theory is it's it's a, it, to me, anyone who believes in divine command theory needs to go back to the early Middle Ages where they belong. Um, it's really vile because yeah, oh,
Well, I mean, we've had this discussion, right,
yeah,
about divine command theory because ultimately, unless you say, and let me see if I can share this. Uh, okay, so um, so here I say that with I guess Albert Brownfield is Neppy, so he won't deny that he will do the most horrific things to babies in an orphanage if he thought his God commanded him to. And the reason I say if he thought his God commanded him to is because these guys don't have direct access to God, right? They don't have direct access to what God thinks is moral or not. So all they have is what they think is God's will. So you actually have people who have heard voices that's told them to kill their children or put them into a station wagon and roll it into the lake, starve their kids because God, the in Disney or etc. They've
withhold insulin.
yeah, and
Yeah,
withholding
all that
insulin,
stuff.
etc. So they just tell themselves that God told them to do that, and so it's it it is just their subjective delusions, except they just put an overlay on top of it, saying that well, it's coming from God, and therefore it's moral, and that's what divine command theory is, because you can take anything that you have and just say, well, I think my God is telling me that this is moral, and therefore this is moral. And you can't have a moral system like that because that is essentially a subjective moral system where you just take your moral sentiment and you just justify it by saying that, just by making a claim that, oh, this comes from God. So that's like I guess the horrific thing about divine command theory, that you can use it to justify any viewpoint.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you can use it to justify anything, then terms like good and evil become meaningless because what's good today could just change and be evil tomorrow, solely based off of whatever God's preferences are in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, short of them actually like pointing to God, like a physical God, or I guess it doesn't have to be physical, but some concrete evidence of God and some concrete evidence that they have direct access into God's moral views. Everything that they claim, is just their own views. And I
Yeah.
always like to post, like, is it just sheer coincidence that the God that they believe in happens to share the same set of bigotry or prejudices that they have as well? And I'll kind of poke a little bit at Craig Kelly. So, like for Craig, he's someone who is more progressive, and he believes, I think, human rights, etc. Letting people be people. But I presume Craig thinks that his God feels that same way. And then you have someone like Nepi, who has a completely different set of idea of what they think that their God thinks is moral. And from their point of view, homosexuality is a sin, it's being trans is wrong, etc., etc. So, um, it can't be just coincidence that the God that you happen to believe in has the exact same set of viewpoints that you do. It's the other way around, where you have your own viewpoints and you come up with a God that believes in that shares that same set of views.
The
Yeah.
as Craig was just saying there, the divine command theory falls down because you could you'd real is it really God or is it just whatever? That is still not my biggest criticism of the Catholic Church, but it's up there. They have made it, they because of divine command theory, they've made some atrocious mistakes. And I mean, what was it last couple of weeks ago? I only found out that they took an official opinion about rape in marriage and decided it was bad in 1997, I think it was. I mean, it, they started talking about it in 67, and it took 30 years. Insanity. They just, yeah, divine command theory is horrible. Leads people to crusades, wars, and just being the biggest wankers on the planet. Um,
Yeah, so Craig here says, "Well, no, QC, I don't, I just use my brain before obedience to the Bible," and
yeah,
I definitely strawmanned him by saying that because I think you can still have faith. It's just that if you have faith where you're using the Bible to justify kind of your own views first, um, then that's where the danger comes. But I think you can have faith and believe in a God and have that faith, but still be grounded in reality so that, when the Bible says that, there was a global flood and we have all this evidence that it can't be the case, you believe the evidence, not the text. And, I don't think it has to take away from your faith to say that some of the stories are stories.
I mean,
So
it,
Yeah, or they're just like allegorical, or
yeah,
they're supposed to give us some kind of lesson.
and it's the thing of the book. I always remember when I went from middle school to high school, and the head brother that I had all my education for free because when I started school, um, unbeknown to me, my second cousin was the Pope. And when he found out that Mum was unwed and pregnant and that I was around, he ordered that I be given the best education possible and no bill, thank you very much. So I even got a personal tutor sent out from the Vatican, a retired Maris brother. But when I got to high school, the head brother got up on the stage, held the Bible. We are we are here to teach you how to think, not what to think. And any bugger who tells you, and he pointed to the Bible, that this is in any shape, way, or form to be taken literally, tell them to sod off and run away. They're a danger. Um, Christianity back in Australia was a bit more realistic. We probably had at the Morris Brothers School, the high school, more non-Christians than Christians attending, because it was purely on scholastic merits. It was the
Right.
best school outside of the capital city. So that's where everyone went to. And I'd already came out as an atheist um, when I was in grade 5. And yeah, no problems at all. It's so that I've got a sort of a unique perspective on Christianity and especially Catholicism, um, mainly because the guy who was my personal tutor had worked for the Inquisition for X number of years. He was a psychiatrist. He was a doctor of psychiatry, linguist, linguistics. Um, yeah, he and very down to earth. And I asked him one day, "What about exorcisms?" And he said, "Yeah, Dad, mm, I haven't seen any real cases. I have shot a pig or two because during the rite of exorcism, they if you can trick the entity into revealing its name, you can move it into another body. So pigs are the normal one. So you can sort of transfer the demon from a human into the pig, and then you shoot the pig, and the demon loses its corporeal form and goes back down to hell." And he said, "But that was purely for psychological reasons. These people were backward thinking, um, you know, semi-tribal people in South America somewhere." And even though I said I'd come to the conclusion that she had schizophrenia, it wouldn't. I had to do a show and dance and make a exhibition, getting rid of the demon while handing her mother the schizophrenia medication and making sure she uses it. So it sort
Oh
of,
wait, so they would actually give them medication and do the fake exorcism?
yeah,
I see.
because the stigma
Yeah.
of no, they still didn't. There was a huge stigma about mental health back then.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, they'd go through the whole ritual, and he said it's a placebo, but it helps.
Well, I
And
mean, I think these kind of rituals can be powerful, right? And can have
yeah,
some benefits.
and it's he said but it's all placebo. And he said, honestly, I think if I ever you know, got sent to a case of true demon possession, um, I think I would have run away and called for backup. You know,
How
the
do you
holy
get
hand
backup?
grenade. Yeah, the holy hand grenade.
He's got to go to Monty Python and get the holy hand grenade.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Nice.
it's he was a very practical man too. That's where I
Yeah.
got the my saying of buggering Christ on a bike. That's what he used to say all the time. But because of him, I do know um, classical Latin and Greek. The favourite punishment for, apart from physical, that the brothers used to hand out was, righto, copy out Genesis from the Vulgate by hand.
Oh,
And my hand would go up because usually I was the one getting the punishment. My hand would, can I in, does it have to be in the Latin? Is the book written in Latin? Yes, brother. So,
jeez.
yeah,
So you had to correct Romanus und Domus into Romani te Domum, right?
yeah. It, I I worked out that over 7 years, I'd copied the entire bloody Bible out at least 3 times.
Man.
And it just, yeah, little things stick in my mind because if you want to know, if you want to know what's in a book, write it out. Don't just read it, write it out. And you can,
And I'll have to say that most of the Christian shows, I really highly doubt that they've actually read much of the Bible.
no,
That
Yeah, they only know the parts that their pastor or their priest
yeah,
tell them about.
yeah.
and I mean,
Um, I,
that's why, pardon me, um, my Pope cousin was so loved and so hated is because he was the one who brought in all the no, no more Latin at church. It's in whatever language, and a lot of sweeping reforms he went through and put in place.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I had a very interesting childhood, and I wasn't made aware that who was paying for the my education, or the only thing I was, why the fuck, mum, are you sending me to a bloody school where there's penguins? I don't like nuns. And oh,
Did you ever put is it Deus Vult at end of passage?
no, that to me that was. I think I could have put anything because I don't think anyone bloody checked my work. Because I know when I had to do the all the begatting um, the second time, I did it in reverse order, and no one said
Oh,
anything. So I don't think anyone's checking my work. So I'll have fun with it, change bits and pieces, and had fun.
well, if you ever did put Deus Vult in there, you got to put like a little Crusader helmet, like a little drawing of it right next to it.
Yeah, the the thing that I loved was and I've got it locked away still in one of them in the storage shed is a copy of the Vulgate 1660 version done on vellum and hand in illustrated. That was his bequeath to me when he died. He sent me that, and it's still probably one of my most prized possessions. It's just beautiful, the art, the artwork, and once you understand the symbolism behind Christian art, it makes looking at churches and Da Vinci's paintings and all that sort of thing so much more interesting. Yeah, but I enjoyed his philosophy because he made it fun. And I still have a lot of close friends who are in the Catholic Church. But I don't, it doesn't come up, their religion, it's not brought up. They'll sit and watch a Tim Mitchell concert and laugh. They'd laugh as much as anyone, when the Pope song comes on, or, thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Tim's mum. Yeah, they know how to. The Catholics of my day knew knew that people took the piss out of them. They'd take the piss out of themselves. They had laughter. They had a bit of joy. Whereas I see the United States Christianity as an oppressive, joyless mix mash of weird beliefs. There's no coherency. It's really strange watching the difference in American Christianity to Christianity around the world. It's like you go to Italy, you would think a very religious place. Not many people go to church. It's one of those things. Yeah. The same in England. You don't see people rolling. A Sunday, you might see a few people on the church lawn having, afternoon tea or whatever. It's, none of this tent revivaling and falling down and speaking in tongues and all that sort of shit. Anyway, sorry,
Oh, no
that was a
worries.
long
Oh
one.
no, you're good. That was
Uh,
perfectly fine.
I,
Honestly, I
I,
was intently listening. So
yeah, it's one of the my hatred of philosophy has mellowed, and I'm finding it quite interesting to, oh, I've heard of that name, or I heard of that concept. I now know, what what it's called and how it came to be, and it goes into my love of history as well, which I've got a master's for, but couldn't be bothered doing anything else. The only reason I got a doctorate in the first place was because my sister had 4 of them.
jeez.
Yeah, she overachiever much. She does she does contract work, and this is, I'm allowed to say this, for the US military and the CIA. It's to do with, there's a bunch of them, different psychiatrists and psychologists around the world working on what's the best way to train or to teach people new skills, and that's why on the modern battlefield, the the drone controls, the tank controls, all have slowly evolved to take a look of the game console controller.
Yeah, that reminds me of even though it was an absolute tragedy, it was that submarine um, that like I think it was the CEO of the company and a few other like wealthy um, like people who were on that submarine. The guy, like the control he was using for it was like a game controller.
Yeah.
I forget which console it was, but it might have been like an Xbox controller or something.
Yeah,
And I was thinking to myself, well, I did grow up as a gamer, so that should be super intuitive for me to grasp that.
it's yeah, and it's stuff like that. It's oh yeah, Craig. Yeah, I still have a rosary, but mine's completely um, a, a naughty rosary because it's made of ivory. You know, back in the day. What were we going to talk about? What were we going to supernatural shit? Where's
Oh,
Neil?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Actually, before we do that, I wanted to have a little fun with Nepi.
Oh
His
yes, please.
post, his post with he because he doesn't want to come on and have an actual dialogue with us. He comes up with us his own dialogue, his own I guess debate, because for him posting in the comments is considered a debate. And of course, he says that there is no debate, and yet he posts what he thinks is a debate. Just like him saying that he's destroyed atheism, but still fighting atheism, I guess. But I thought this whole thing was pretty funny. And he's done kind of this version a few times. So he has Jesus and saying, "So, atheist." So apparently Jesus doesn't know your name. He'll call you, "So, atheist, how about you stop staring down at your feet for a moment and answer me?" Because apparently in the afterlife you have feet, and you stare down at your feet. Are you still an atheist? So if you are in front of Jesus in the afterlife, you're no longer an atheist. That's the whole
Nope, not at
point.
all. I'd just
So
be standing there like, well, I guess I was wrong.
right, exactly. Thanks for the evidence. Finally. But who is this? Oh, Steve O. Hey, Steve O.
Hey,
Hey guys.
I was just going to show Machiavelli because the my local tobacconist um, is finding it very hard to get good, not tax tobacco. Is that
uh,
am I? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, that little tin there to fill
Ooh.
cost me $200.
Good
What?
God.
Oh my gosh.
It's what's it? 6 centimeters. Sorry, not 10 centimeters long, 6 centimeters wide, and under 2 centimeters in depth. So yeah, 60 grams of tobacco for just over $200. So I found my old tobacco seeds. Um,
Are you gonna plant them?
yeah, I'll plant them and
Okay.
try and
Good.
make my
Very
own.
good.
Or you could quit tobacco.
Well, I, I, I do have some lung damage from when I had chickenpox as an adult. It
Oh,
went
Oh,
internally. Um, I had to have a tube down my throat and everything to breathe. So my lungs are, imagine chickenpox scars are all inside my lungs. And I do deep breathing exercises every day to keep my puff up. And so once that's gone, I'm not smoking until I have my own. Because I'm happy with just, 2 or 3 pipes um, a day, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, I find it more satisfying. Um, but yeah, it's ridiculous. They've just made, they're just making more criminals.
Yeah,
Because
you know it's
people,
bad when it's easier to get it, just grow it yourself than for you to just go somewhere and buy it.
yeah,
Good Lord. Well, like
and
like
it,
if you don't want people to smoke, then well, just give them all the information about, the pros and cons of smoking, and then the people themselves will just decide whether they want to do it. I mean, that's what
yeah,
happened in the US. Like
and
the tobacco industry by and large is really struggling outside of vaping. Vaping's kind of replaced cigarettes for my generation.
yeah, that's
yeah,
about right.
in Australia, um, vaping um, is illegal. Anything with nicotine in the vape, big illegal.
Wow.
Just normal
What?
vaping, they've made that illegal because some health reasons. Apparently, there's oil in it or whatever that is carcinogenic. Um, but yeah, the
Well,
the
I mean, if it
rules of
has nicotine, right, it is addictive. So
yeah, but
that's
Yeah.
the rationale.
it's just one of those things.
Is
If
your
they
medication situation okay now, Ook?
yeah, I've gotten it, and since stopping one tablet in particular, I don't know whether you can see how these nails are a bit weird coloured,
Hmm.
and these ones are getting better. One of the um, drugs I was on was turning my nails to a brown green
Damn.
with ridges all over them, and I I've got myself a little pill container that goes off, an alarm that goes off, so I take the pain medication at the same time, every day. And I was sort of doing that, but then oh no, I'm feeling pretty good. Nah, I won't take the pain medication. An hour later, I'm sort of, fuck, I can hardly move. Oh, yeah, just because you're not in pain at the moment, take the medication.
Yep,
Um, it,
definitely.
it works. But yeah, it's another
Well,
thing that I'm
yep.
thankful I'm in Australia because I worked out my monthly bill for pharmacy without the Australian subsidy would be just under 2,200 bucks. Whereas at the moment,
Sounds about
Wow.
right.
all mine are free. There's a safety net. Once our normal prescriptions cost anywhere from $5 to $7.50. That's for anything.
Yeah,
And
so Tilting said
once,
his the cost of tobacco was his primary reason for quitting,
yeah,
and by the way, that's how the U.S. is trying to wean people off of healthcare, make it so expensive that you don't get sick.
yeah,
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
I now have in Australia, you get your medication subsidised, and also once you reach a threshold, like you've spent X amount of dollars on medication, and you're a pensioner, you then get all your medication for free. And for the first time in second time in 2 years, I've managed to hit the free list, free limit um, before the new year. So I'm stocking up on everything.
Yeah, there was
Um,
actually a story in the US about a woman who has cancer and she couldn't afford the $5,000. I'm not sure if that was for the healthcare premium or whatnot, but she basically couldn't take her cancer medication, and she ended up dying early because of it. Um,
yeah,
so, so I mean, it has a tangible effect what what the Trump administration is doing in terms of the mismanagement of the healthcare system. Yep,
it's
there's a lot of background on your side, Luke.
uh,
I'm not sure
Crystal's
what is going on back there.
Crystal's fighting with her bread.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
she's just sorry about the swearing, but
Oh,
we didn't hear the swearing as much as the clanking of the utensils.
yeah.
yeah. It was the clanking, not the swearing.
we
anyway,
couldn't we couldn't hear the swearing too much.
she's hang on.
By the way, apologies if my voice is a little weird tonight. I'm on my phone right now. I'm stuck out in New Orleans.
Oh,
I
you
see.
having
No,
a
I
good
mean,
time?
I'm not in a bad spot. Um, I was just out with a buddy of mine, and I just got back to my vehicle. So I decided to just cut in while I had a little few minutes before I got on the road.
Sure. Yeah, there's a little bit of echo,
Gotcha.
but I think it's fine.
Okay.
Uh, but let's just kind of get back into the discussion with this what Nepi had. So we got to where apparently the atheist fool says, "I reckon not. Of course you're not an atheist. Jesus is right in front of you, and you're dead, but you're in the afterlife." And Jesus says, "Not making any atheist videos today. You know, when you're dead and in the afterlife, it's actually very hard to make videos." Uh,
Yeah.
and and the atheist fool says, "No, sir. No, sir, Jesus. I was stupid. I have no excuse. I actually thought that the compassion, passion, capacity of a human being to take a bullet for a loved one came from nothing by nothing. Um, I'm not sure what atheist fool this is that they think things nothing came from nothing. Things came from nothing. I actually thought that the love that a new mother felt in her heart towards her newborn child came from nothing by nothing. I mean, that's just so stupid. Um, so Jesus says, "What did you do with the gift of life I gave you?" And so apparently that Jesus is the father of that atheist fool. Maybe Jesus inseminated that guy's mother.
Like,
And yeah, sorry.
no, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So atheist fool says, "I marched for climate change."
Can
Oh
you
my
be any
gosh.
dumber?
The sin of marching for climate change. Um, and and Jesus says, "Idiot." Jesus says, "Idiot." There is no climate change. I created everything. I manage everything. So Jesus is admitting that he's the one responsible for the global warming, and it's not a climate change. It's just him managing it.
So
Um,
Jesus is the reason why my wealthy, like third, fourth cousin lost their beach house to the ice caps melting? Damn it, Jesus.
You bastard!
Oh, and then there's, I was an advocate for Muslim refugees to America. Oh my gosh! I
Bro.
apparently Jesus was never a refugee, right? It's not like he ever fled to Egypt. When Herod was supposedly going after him. But Islam is a demonic death cult, according to Jesus.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though Islam professes that Jesus actually existed.
Yep.
And then the atheist full size, and Jesus says, "What did you do to honor me on earth?" And the atheist fool says, "I joined the Boy Scouts."
Oh.
Oh, you all
This
Oh
know
my
has
that
to be the
gosh.
greatest straw man of all time.
you
He's
do
the
know
mega straw manner.
that the the scouting movement worldwide is not the same as the American Boy Scouts. Completely different entity.
I don't think Jesus would have said, "Well, as long as it wasn't the American Boy Scouts, you're not a
Yeah,
fool."
but no, they have some fundamental ideology clashes, shall we say. Um,
Is it religion oriented ideology differences or something different?
Religious, and they didn't like the fact that it was. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't as military as
Oh.
they wanted
Oh,
it to
oh, I
be.
see.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean the
Uh,
U.S. wanted it to be more militant?
yeah, more military.
Okay, more military oriented.
Basically, like a form of the ROTC, so to speak, here in America.
Yeah, and the fact that the Scout Association worldwide, they can change the oaths and all that you give, so it will fit in with the culture. So on my honour, I play. Oh, good God, I'm not going to go. I just realised I was going to say it. But yeah, say in India, the oath you take is different to the one you take in other Commonwealth countries.
Hmm.
You can have God in there, or you cannot. It doesn't matter. It's on my honour, as opposed to God. And it was basically on religious grounds, and the world, the rest of the world's Boy Scouts weren't being taught to shoot guns and all
Mm.
that sort of stuff. So
Uh,
it,
I mean, honestly, I thought the Boy Scouts was just a U.S. based thing. I did not know it was international.
yeah, only because I did, mum, being a single mum for a long time, and a barmaid, I got to do lots of things that were supervised by other people that kept kept me out of her hair. So I got into martial arts when I was 4, and went right through the whole scouting thing, even to the point where I became an assistant scout and venturer. Um, that's the next level up from, or next age group up from scouts leader, and used to run courses for scout leaders and anyone who wanted to do the course, kayaking, canoeing, Australian bushcraft, that sort of shit. So I was involved in scouts quite heavily, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, I think to defend the U.S. Boy Scouts as well. I mean, I think it is. There's some benefits, and I think other kids would have fun. At least back in the days. I'm not sure if
I
it's
mean,
the case anymore.
it's still good for training and personal growth.
Hmm.
yeah, it's yes, it's one of those things that at its fundamental core, it's good for kids, young adults of either sex, male, female, indifferent. Um, but yeah, uh, it was just too much politics, and so
Yeah.
they they just said, all right, well, you can be the Boy Scouts of America,
Oh, I see.
and
That's
you're
where that came
allowed to
from.
come with our you're allowed to come to our jamborees. Where
Mm-hmm.
it's like scouts from all over pick a country and go and camp on it and turn a perfectly good field into a toxic dump for the next 6 months with latrines and chemical. Yeah.
So Craig said in the UK we have cadets and TA. I don't know if that's part of the Scouts organization, but
Um, no. Um,
yeah, it must be some UK specific thing.
Yeah, I think each one is different than the other.
Yeah.
yeah. It's what is it? We had Army cadets, Sea cadets, no, I don't. Air Force cadets. You could sort of join.
Mm-hmm.
There were lots of groups that you could join as a kid and learn skills.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think those are kind of the good things, right? Learning some of
yeah,
those skills.
and the friendship you make, and also you know you meet people with from again various backgrounds, Sikhs, Muslims, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Apparently in
Um,
UK they have scouts, but they don't go to church because there's no pews.
yeah,
So,
it's
so with what Nephi's, so what he's saying is that joining the Boy Scouts is useless because that honored yourself and not Jesus, I guess. So
how
why did you embrace the world, reject my death, and damn your soul? Apparently, joining the Boy Scouts damned the atheist soul. So I believe that the Big Bang, abiogenesis, and evolution created everything. Which okay, it
bit of a
doesn't.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean
bit of a
atheism has
broad
nothing to. So
brush.
basically, oh, I believe in science. Oh no, you're damned to hell. Jesus, how can mindless, unguided processes create everything? Apparently, Jesus is like very, very ignorant of how science works, especially the high complexity, high function of a ready to produce human being. Ah,
That's because that really only existed in the Bronze Age. So
so atheist fool says, I don't know. I don't know why you're so stupid, Jesus. And Jesus says, how could you have been? And apparently, Jesus doesn't know grammar. How could you have been so stupid? You are the most intelligent, resourceful, and powerful entity in my creation. And you can't even design, create a tree, much less a human being. Yet you think a mindless, unguided process designed, created trees, and even human beings? You deserve hell just on your stupidity alone. So the theology here is that if you believe in science, Jesus will send you to hell uh,
hmm.
because uh, because you're not as stupid as Jesus about the sciences.
And let's
So,
remember, Nepi believes
oh, sorry.
that hell is in the center of the earth, and volcano eruptions are caused by overcrowding in hell. They need more space, and that's why you get volcanic eruptions.
Wait, you mean to tell me God is all powerful and he still has to deal with logistics? This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, that's one of his more,
Apparently, the deists didn't get the memo.
yeah, crazy insanity. Um,
But I think we can now go into the spooky stuff.
Oh, good. Just put in time for that.
so
Yeah. So I wanted. to actually go over some of the. There was actually some Twitter responses to my. Oh, okay, so Carmine actually was on like a while ago on here, but she says she stayed in a haunted hotel room in New
Oh,
Orleans.
there's plenty of them.
Yes, and I've heard people saying that they've had experiences, and it seems like there's some hotels where that's their selling point. They say it's haunted.
I mean, there's homes, hotel rooms, plantation houses, everything.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there
So
was
any of you guys actually have like a ghost story or experience? Not a story, but something that you've actually experienced.
Uh, let me go. Can I go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it, Steve.
Um, the best one I've got, and this is gonna ramble for a moment, so forgive me. Um, about 25 years ago, me and my younger brother were in our early teens, and we are trying to beat the night and all that, so we're staying up all night. Well, we lived in a trailer home that was about 30 years old at the time. It was already starting to fall apart, so it was rickety. And we're in his bedroom. This, uh, it's a long, thin trailer with a narrow hallway with bedrooms, where half it was bedrooms and half it was the kitchen, bedroom area, not kitchen, living room area. I'm sorry. Well, his bedroom was right in the middle of the trailer. And one night we're staying up and we started hearing like perfect banging noise, like you can time it to by the atomic clock, how precise it was. So we walked out from his bedroom into the living room and started to investigate. Well, as soon as we step out, it stopped. We were like, whatever, it's probably just a tree or something banging against the side of the trailer. Well, we walked back into the room, started talking, and a few moments later, it started again. Perfect time noises, like somebody walking in the living room area. So we could do it. We was investigate again. This time with baseball bats. Again, as soon as we walked out into the living room area, nothing. So we walked back to the room one more time. This time we didn't say anything. We just waited a few moments to hear the noises, and what do you know? They start up again. This time I bolted to my bedroom and closed my door and just and pulled the covers over me. I didn't know what the hell was going on. That's about it. It's not major, but it's just weird.
huh, interesting. Yeah,
Well, so
when
both you
I
and your brother experienced it.
Yeah, both at the same time.
Hmm.
I mean, the closest thing we could tell was at first there was a window by the kitchen, which was at the very end of the trailer, and there was a tree branch that was right outside of it. We thought maybe a wind was blowing and it was causing the tree branch to hit the window. But we looked at it, the branch wasn't moving. So we thought maybe just a minor, just a brief breeze. But then as soon as we went back to his bedroom, it started again. We go out, we check, the same thing happened. The branch wasn't moving. There was no, we actually opened the door and there's no breeze.
But that's really all that was, right? Just moving tree branches.
No, the branch didn't move.
Wait,
There was no
I
breeze,
think
no
I
nothing.
misunderstood.
Yeah, there's nothing. It was just, it was a calm night. No
Oh, okay.
breeze, no wind, no nothing.
You thought it was like some tree branch, but it
Yeah, we
wasn't.
thought it was.
Oh, okay, okay,
I
got it.
clarified. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that was it. I
hmm.
mean, there was no explanation to it.
Someone could be
man,
pranking you. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be the first time I've heard like someone doing a prank like that. Like
Yeah.
in a lot of horror movies, for example, the way they do the paranormal activity of like having stuff move is they use this ultra thin like fishing line
Oh yeah.
and it doesn't pop up on camera. So that's how they get like different objects to move across the set.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. But in terms of like supernatural experiences and all that, when I was when I was just a small kid, I mean, I couldn't have been older than like maybe 7, maybe 8 at the time. I don't remember what specifically it was, but I had like a bad dream or something. And then I woke up, and when I woke up, I had some sleep paralysis, you know. And I'm like, okay, well, this sucks, but whatever. And in the corner of my bedroom, I remember this one section that was getting darker and darker in appearance the longer I looked at it. And, you know, I can't move or anything like that. And a few moments later, I'm seeing like this, like vaguely humanoid, like shadowy figure rising out of the floor until it's like maybe about 6 feet tall ish, maybe a little bit taller than that. And it's kind of, it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have any eyes or anything like that. It's just this featureless, black, vaguely human silhouette.
Well, you
And
were by
even though it,
yourself, right? You were by yourself
yeah,
at the time. Okay.
yeah. And it, like I said, it had no facial features, nothing. And I could tell, even though it doesn't have eyes, it's looking right at me. So my anxieties just
Oh
spiked
my
through the
god.
roof.
Wait,
You
how
know,
old were you again? I forgot.
I was like maybe 7 or 8.
Oh my god, that would be so scary as a 7 year
Like I
old.
Oh
said,
yeah.
yeah, like I can still see that whole situation playing out like right now in my head, and it was
Sleep
so weird.
paralysis is
Yeah,
fucking scary when you're an adult, yet alone a
yeah.
kid.
Yeah, and it was like as soon as like it was like a couple moments later, and I'm like wondering like what's about to happen, and as quickly as this thing was there, it like dropped through the floor almost like something pulled it, and then I never saw it again.
I mean, so
Interesting.
just from a kind of rational point of view, you would kind of say that that was some kind of like a hallucination. You were still kind of sleepy, and it was just kind
Yeah.
of in your mind.
Yeah, that's what I ended up chalking it up to when I was older. But
Hmm.
as a kid at the time, I genuinely thought, oh shit, is that a ghost? Like, is that a demon? What is this?
Yeah,
Um, but now I chalk it up to like just either I was having a dream and still kind of out of it, and then maybe I had woke up in that process and interpreted the dream as being a real experience.
yeah,
I've had
and
something
and
similar
there,
before, so I know what you're saying.
yeah, and the thing is, like, some people would connect that into some religious as a religious experience,
Yeah.
kind of
Whereas,
like with NDEs.
yeah, I would chalk that up too with, well, that was some strange shit.
Right.
And yeah, leave it at that. Um, I got a couple, probably the one that sticks out the most because wasn't just me. It was during the dry season up in up in Arnhem Land. Um, for anyone who doesn't know where that is, that's where Crocodile Dundee was shot and came from. So it's wild, and you know things up there. It's probably the only place in Australia that has large animals that not only want to eat you, but stamp the shit out of you. Feral pigs, reaching, you know, just over 300 kilos. the wild water buffaloes that make Cape, the African Cape buffalo, look like a sane person, a nice placid cow. The Australian version of it is just fucking. It's a murder machine on steroids. They're fucking horrible. And then you got crocs. We were taking a tropo day because it had been for 2 weeks 40 degrees. Temperature only dropped down to 37 at 9 o'clock at night. So take a tropo 3 days. If we keep working, we're going to go insane. So a bunch of us jumped in the old Land Cruiser. The Aboriginal elder had given me a rough map on where some good fishing was to be had, and it was also the start of barramundi season. So yeah, they're good tucker. We got to the campsite, set everything up, caught some good barra. I never slept on the ground up there. I always either slept on the back of the tray of the Land Cruiser, or on the roof. Or my favourite one was a hammock, because crocs, if you lay on the ground, they will come out and drag you away. They're not stupid. And I happened to, I don't know what woke me up, but I turned to where the fire was, and I see all the fellas. There's my dad. There's a guy who was ex-Rhodesian ranger, if you will, pretty hard guy. An ex-SAS British guy, and an ex-SAS Australian guy. So all of them, except for my father, are seeing combat, and some really nasty combat. Every one of them is in a circle around the fire with their backs towards the fire so they don't lose your night vision, and they've all got their firearms resting in the crook of their arm. I went to get out of the hammock, and the old man went, right, quietly got out, grabbed my firearm, still kept. One thing you don't want to do in the bush is stare directly at the fire, because then your night vision is completely fat. So I approached, sat down, and in whispered conversation was, "Is something wrong?" And the ex-Rhodesian Special Forces guy said, "Listen, there was nothing. I mean, normally there's insects, there's bats, there's cicadas going off, there's fish jumping. Nothing. Absolutely no sound, normal wildlife sound." And I went, "Well, something's hunting." And the British SAS guy leaned in next to me and went, correct, son, but what are they hunting? And we just stayed like that for about half an hour. And two of the guys got up, did a quick circuit about 50 metres out from the camp, couldn't work it out. We decided, fuck this. We all packed up and moved to the next billabong over. And a few of us, my father, myself, and the South African SAS guy, we went back to the campsite in the morning, the old campsite, trying to find, we're putting money on, I reckon it was a croc on land. No, I think it was it was probably a buffalo getting our scent, wanting to get into the food. No, it just might have been dingoes. Found no tracks of anything within 100 metres of the old campsite, except for ours. Absolutely no animal tracks. Now that's freaky enough to
Yeah.
find, but to have these guys they they're combat veterans. They don't get spooked easily. For them to say, fuck it, we're moving at 2 o'clock in the morning because of a feeling of unease and whatever was just, we couldn't work it out. And when we got back to the camp, the mining camp, we passed through the Aboriginal village, and I pulled up and I asked the Aboriginal elder, I said, "Oi, Billy, that bloody billabong you sent us to, it was what was living there? Was it? Did you send us to wind us up or something?" And he, "Which one did you go to?" And I pointed to him. "You're meant to go to the one next, a couple of kilometres down the road. That one's got a bunyip." A bunyip is a mythical, sort of like an American Bigfoot, but not. It can be malevolent, or it can just be leave you alone, or whatever. But yeah, so apparently we'd tried to set up camp in a spot that the Aboriginals considered taboo, because you don't mess with spirits. You just respect them, and that way they won't mess with you. Pretty much the way all Australians treat all Australian animals. If you don't fuck with it, it's not going to fuck with you. But yeah, to this day, it's still, and there was fear coming off these guys. I could smell it, and these are guys who have, used garrots to remove people's heads. So they're not squeamish, but yeah, enough to cause really hardened people to decide, fuck it, we're moving to camp at 2 in the morning. And that was one of them. That was the strangest, because none of us could put any. Yeah, that was weird shit. And if the Aboriginals say there's a bunny up there and weird shit happens there, well, yeah, fair enough. Mark it down to we don't know. And it's things like that. What was the other one? Oh, I was going out with this Sheila. She was a bit loopy, but she was a good group. And I saw her. We didn't live together or anything, but went over her place one day and she was trimming her nails. And then she scooped them into a blender and made a smoothie. And I was standing at the kitchen door. She didn't know I was there. And I went, what the fuck is she doing? And she said, oh, would you like a smoothie? And it was, no, I'll pass, thanks. Apparently, she thought herself a bit of a witch. So she was trying to entrap me by getting me to ingest bits of her, like she puts chop up hair and put it in a pie or something that it's small enough so you wouldn't notice. And she gave me a bit of white quartz, about I'm just trying to think of it. Yeah, about the size of that.
Okay.
And just as a present, and she said, I've been wearing that in my bra over my chest for 6 months. And I went, all right, yeah, fair enough. And then she just got too weird for me to even say, no, so I broke it off with her. And someone who is supposedly sensitive to spirit world and that sort of stuff said there's something strange about that quartz crystal. And it was pure white. And I said, I just think it's pretty. And she got the sage out and was doing a bit of cleansing of whatever was in the crystal. And I watched it turn from pure white to right in the middle of it, jet black with jet black veins emanating out before my eyes. And
Wow.
that's when I went, no, that's freaky shit. And we lived near a river, so I just hooked it into. I knew that some Aboriginal law is to get rid of stuff like that. It needs running water, so you throw it into a stream or a creek or something like that to take it away and wash it away. So I did that. Some of the old man's customs stuck with me, but yeah, could not explain that one. It had a normal white quartz rock, and it didn't turn completely black. It just, that would have been weird enough, but for the middle of the stone to go black and then these veins radiate, not even going to attempt to understand that was. But I'm chucking the fucking thing away. I don't normally get spooked. The only other thing is my grandmother and she used to always believe in thanking the fairies. She was Irish, and I will still to this day, if I lose my keys or whatever, um, I'll say, come on, you little bastard, stop mucking about, give them back to me, because fairies like shiny things and that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
if I if I've got a pot plant that's strong enough or whatever, I'll put some coloured glass beads on it and that sort of shit. One, it looks pretty, it looks nice, and it's a nod to my grandmother's tradition of leaving little gifties for the wee things. And I don't believe in them, but it seems to, you know, every time I ask, where are my keys or where is this thing, it'll turn up in a place I've already looked at 7 times. So yeah,
That's
they're
creepy.
not real. It's just a little habit that I got into, and that's mine. So come on,
Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
kid.
Man,
but
Yeah, it just, the first one is still the one that freaks me out, because these are guys who have fucking, as I said, cut people's heads off with piano wire, um, and that sort of shit. It's these are guys who don't get spooked, but fuck, we were all spooked, and we stayed away from that tributary of the river. Um, I think for 2 years. No one at the mine camp went there for 2 years. It Yeah, and to go back and find no animal tracks whatsoever, it was just, hang on, there must have been wallabies, kangaroos getting about. Uh, couldn't even find any large goanna prints, which is incredibly strange. Um, where there's food, there's usually a local goanna coming up asking for eggs. Um, couldn't find anything, but it had everyone, including me, with a fire, walking around with a firearm. That's something you don't. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever done that in camping in Australia. You know, the firearm was there, but it was only, you didn't walk around with it. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
even it was just freaky to see men who had gone through literal hell and was still fairly sane, all of them. And even my stepfather, who lived there, as a member of the clan, um, all his life, and he didn't realise where he was camping. Otherwise, he would have sent us to, taken us to the next billabong. But yeah, that one is, I can't give any explanation for it. Just like the crystal turning black, can't give any info. It just, strange shit happens.
Yeah. So that goes to kind of to this question or post that Carmine put in. So you can be an atheist and believe in God. And the answer is no. I actually responded to her. So you can't be an atheist and believe in God, but I think you can. Wow, what's going on?
oh geez, Steve-O, mute up.
Wow, jeez. Yeah. So, but I think so. being an atheist doesn't mean we know everything, right? Being an atheist doesn't mean, oh, science has explained everything, so there are no mysteries, and there's nothing more to be known. That's not what atheism is. Atheism is just about the position of the belief in the existence of God. But we know that there are plenty of things that we don't know, and plenty of things that we don't have explanations for. And some of these kind of experiences where we just don't have an experience, we say that we don't know what happened there. We don't know what's going on. But look, you wouldn't say that. You wouldn't take that and say, well, because I couldn't explain what was going on, it must mean God. Because that's the fallacy that atheism is against. That if you don't know something, you
You
don't
say,
immediately go, it's God.
yeah, if you don't know something, you don't know something. You just put
Yeah,
it down to that was fucking strange.
yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Right? It's like, hey, we don't know the exact method of how life formed from, abiotic materials. And we don't say, therefore, God took some dust and breathed into it. We just
no.
say, we don't have a specific known model of the exact mechanism of abiogenesis. We say that we know all these different chemical processes that can result in abiotic materials becoming biomolecules. And these are the different conditions, and these are the conditions that meet what we know of, what the primordial Earth was. So just because we don't know something, it doesn't mean God done it. And that's really the point of, this stream, where I think we can acknowledge that there might be supernatural things, things that we don't have explanations for, but that doesn't mean it's evidence of God.
Or even the supernatural. It,
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I'm
don't know.
we
yeah, I'm
it
firmly in the camp where I don't find the natural supernatural distinction helpful. Same thing with
yeah.
things like material or immaterial. In my view, there are just things that exist, and then there are things that we know, and then there are things that don't exist and things that we don't know.
So when we talk about like a ghost, we would generally, most of us would say it's supernatural. But if we were able to come up with an explanation, figure out, hey, this is how the phenomena of ghosts work, and let's say that it is some kind of disembodied mind, but we have an understanding of how that works, and it fits in our understanding of physics or new understanding of physics. So at that point, once we have that understanding, it becomes a natural phenomena. But until we know it, until we can explain it within our existing knowledge, it's supernatural. It's just an unknown.
And that's probably the best distinction you can make right there.
Yeah, the question
Yeah,
really is: would there be things where it absolutely doesn't fall within kind of our within naturalistic systems?
yeah, that's the thing that I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like I was speaking more so about like these categories being like metaphysical, like ontologies, like they are their own distinct like modes of being or substances, so to speak. More so than like them just being like epistemic categories where, well, one of these things we can incorporate and it's just part of the natural sciences. This other thing, by definition, we just can't. Um, but like that can just be a thing of we know it currently, it's understood scientifically, understood empirically, therefore it's natural. But if we're calling something that's unknown, well, supernatural, then, well, you don't really have that ontological distinction. It's just an epistemic one. It's a matter of what we know and what we don't.
Correct.
And by the way, metaphysical doesn't mean not natural, because naturalism falls within metaphysics. Metaphysics just means kind of a discussion about uh, our ontology of how we understand reality. And it's metaphysics isn't exclusive. Uh, so naturalism is kind of a subset within metaphysics, but metaphysics can encompass a lot of different other understanding of our reality.
Yeah, it's that thing of until I'm happy with I don't know, until more investigation can be done, until the technology catches up to a point where we can investigate stuff like Steve O and my own experiences. It's you can't plug in there God, you can't plug in demons. It's yeah. I think that is what scares most people is being happy with I don't know. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
know one day.
Yeah,
It's really not affecting my life. It was just a strange experience.
Yeah.
Um,
but there is
yeah,
a
Hmm.
discomfort, right? Especially when you talk about the afterlife, what happens after you die, and that's where religion comes in.
Yeah.
yeah. I've
Yep.
never, having been present at quite more deaths than I really want to recount. Um, I suppose you could say there is at the moment they breathe their last, there is an emptiness, a sort of vacating of trying to think of words that aren't hippy trippy, um, like something leaving the body. Um, but I don't think that's any indication of a soul or something. I think that's just a human response to someone breathing their last breath because life has left the body. Um, but near death experiences is just bullshit. You're hallucinating. Um, so yeah, it's along the lines of um,
Yeah.
a Jesus Christ image burnt in my toast. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
looked at the
no
clouds and it said that you know, you are awesome or something.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh look, that thing in the sky looks exactly like a cross. That's a
Oh,
sign from Jesus.
pareidolia.
No, it's not. It's the fucking jet stream of two different fucking jets. One going one way, one going the other. Um,
Yeah.
stop being dickheads.
Yeah. Who's to say that for the right point of view, that could be that cross could be an X?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wasn't there supposed to be a rapture a couple of days ago?
Yeah, I
Oh,
I was gonna
think
say
it was
which
supposed to be
time.
on Christmas.
Yeah,
Wasn't I
the
think there was supposed to be a Christmas rapture.
Christmas one. The
Uh,
African guy
Oh,
moved the date
uh,
again
I mean, the
to
thing is, like,
Christmas.
if you missed last rapture, there will be another one coming.
Yeah.
It's like a bus.
oh, they're
Yeah.
gonna keep going with that.
Well, so this is the last, like I said at the beginning, this is the last live stream of this year. So I do want to take this time and thank you everyone for being on here for a whole year. for all of 2025. I'm I'm sorry we're missing John and Neo and Blarg, but we'll obviously see them next
Fuck
year.
Blarg. He's enjoying
And
the snow.
That
Though,
asshole.
though he might be coming home. Oh, that's right. His house is on stilts, so he's all right. But he might be coming home to floods.
oh,
Good
Oh,
luck to him
They're
when that happens.
predicting severe flooding from sort of uh, a little bit north of where he lives and right up to the tip of Australia, um, caused by
well,
a few
I hope
tropical lows.
I
I
hope
think.
he'll be okay when he comes back. But uh, just to close out, and I do want to thank the people in the live chats because you've definitely been a great part of our discussions, weekly discussions. Craig Kelly coming on despite the late hours on where he is, tilting, and of course with Tuna Man. I hope he's still here, and Errant. And let's see who else I missed. And some of the other regulars who are not here, but definitely it was great having you guys all here this
Oh,
year.
it was a
And
blast the whole year.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so and of course, I know these guys think that I'm doing this for all the money that I'm getting out of having these live sessions, but it's really to kind of enjoy my time having
Well, if you
discussions
were to
with
get money, I'd be demanding a cut.
I
So
think
and also thanks for Machiavelli, our kind of new regular joining us. It's definitely great having you as an addition here. So thanks
yeah, I
very much
appreciate
for.
it. And honestly, I appreciate all of you bastards.
Ah, you're welcome,
it's
you bloody bastard.
it's. I was going to say the the mateship that developed fairly quickly. I think after the second live show um,
Mm.
was really nice to see and experience, and we, especially in digital age, we forget that technology can still be used and bring people face to face and help people with similar interests around the world improve their knowledge.
Of course.
Yeah,
Right.
What I
definitely.
was going to ask the the group here, especially Q, I've been finding in the last couple of days some um, small atheist content makers that I'm vetting them um, quite well to make sure they're not some sort of far right branch of atheism that wants to burn down churches and shit. I did find one of those, uh, but I was thinking if we couldn't invite them onto the show to give
Yeah.
us their perspective, because
Yeah,
we
I'm definitely open, and I've been,
yeah
pinging some of the people in the comments as well.
yeah
So maybe
so,
next year we'll have more people, but um, because I'm going to get kicked out uh, at the end of like in 2 hour at the 2 hour mark, which will be in two
yeah.
minutes.
I'll shut up.
I
Mm.
Yeah, I just wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. A happy 2026, and I think we'll have more of this coming up next year, and I'm definitely looking forward to that, to sharing all that with everyone here.
Indeed. And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
thank you
Happy New
guys,
Year to all of
and
you.
Happy New
may
Year,
your God,
everybody.
All
may
right,
your God go with you.
all right. Happy New Year, everyone. All right,
Oh yeah,
Take care, everybody.
Q.
see you next year.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure will.
evidence ascend. This is fallacy's end. Scriptures written in disguise, veiling men in holy lies. Faith without a place to land, truth that crumbles when it's scanned. Show me logic carved in flame, not a God who hides in shame. Test the world and break the spell. Truth survives where falsehoods fail.